Hey, it's time for another brainy bedtime story with your bedtime story reader, Linny. It's been a while, so as always, relax and let's get ready for our story time. So, it's been a while, but we have been reading Hero on a Mission by Donald Miller, and now we are on chapter 4. So, chapter 4: What elements are necessary for a person to transform? Have you ever gotten together with a friend from years back and after talking, realizing they haven't changed at all? By that I mean they tell the same jokes, relive the same stories, struggle with the same problems. The reason it feels odd to encounter a person who has not changed is because human beings are designed to change, and when we don't, it's an indication that something is wrong. As a memoirist, I did a lot of reflecting. I wrote about my fears and insecurities and even my failures. I wrote 6 or 7 books in the same voice, hopefully chronicling my changes. I confess it's sometimes embarrassing to think about all I wrote about back then. I don't have any copies of my own books in my house, or at least I don't have any that I know about. The reason I don't go back and read my old stuff is because I find my old self nearly unrecognizable. I still agree with most of the ideas, but I find the whining and complaining I did in my old books to be annoying. This isn't a confession of shame. I'm proud of the kid who wrote those books, but I'm also proud of the kid who got better. In the past 10 years, I've transitioned to writing business books. Honestly, I don't miss the old me. The old me was heavier, lonelier, more bitter, and terrible at relationships. The way I look at it, I got healthier. Healthy people acquire discipline and learn from their mistakes. These are the qualities that lead to change. I can't write books like I used to because I'm not the same person I used to be. Sometimes people don't want you to change because it requires too much mental work to recategorize you in their brains. They want you to stay dumb and slow and safe. I like what the stories I've lived have done to me. I'm not perfect, but I'm a lot better than I was. So, why do some people change while others stay the same? Why do some people get stuck and others get unstuck? Most of the stories we love are about characters who transform. The hero usually begins their journey as an unwilling participant, not yet ready to take action. But when Gandalf tells Bilbo about the ring, they are forced into the story through an inciting incident. These incidents exist in stories because they exist in life. Something happens to us. We are forced to act. We leave home, fall in love, or get our hearts broken. And then these incidents offer us a challenge, and it's through accepting these challenges that we transform. When something difficult happens, victims accept defeat, but heroes ask, what does this make possible? Show me a person successful in business, and I'll show you somebody who learned from their failures. Show me a man who is grateful for his wife, and I'll show you a man who has had his heart broken a couple of times. Our pain and our challenges chisel us into better versions of ourselves. For sure, the blow of the chisel hurts, but the result is a sculpted character, competent to create a better world for themselves and others. The hero must want something. It does not take an inciting incident to get a story going. All it takes is a little curiosity. A hero starts wondering what it would be like to accomplish X, Y, or Z. Many of us have stopped wanting something in our lives. We've killed our desire. Not wanting is a form of self protection. Instead of trying, we play it safe. I believe this is a sad reality for many people. The hero has to want something, and he or she must take action to get it. Otherwise, the story fails to gain narrative traction. That brings up another characteristic that leads to transformation. The hero must want something specific. So, what is it that you want specifically? A story about a person who wants fulfillment sounds boring for a reason. What is that story even about? What is so special about this guy, and what sort of fulfillment is he looking for? Defining something elusive to head toward will have us right back in an existential vacuum. If we want to be happy, life will never work. A storyteller must define an exact thing the hero wants. They want to win a karate competition, save their father's company, marry their sweetheart, start a new mission or ministry in a faraway place. Once the hero defines what they want, the story begins. If you don't want anything, you aren't living inside a compelling narrative. When we don't want anything, we become characters in a story with no plot. So, we must want something. What we want hardly matters. As long as what we want is good for us and good for the world, we will have at least one element it takes to experience a deep sense of meaning. A hero must engage their challenges. 2 more reasons people do not transform. They either avoid challenges or they do not learn from them. In his lectures, Viktor Frankl poses a question to his audience. If you look back over the hardest seasons of your life, would you choose to delete them if you could? Now that you are through them, would you not want to have lived them? For most, the answer to this question was still no. They would not want to delete the hard seasons from their memory. They would not have wished the painful season away. When you decide, when you make a mistake, when you learn of your own fallibility and develop the strength of character required to live differently, then the hardships are worth it. So next, let's see, Donald Miller talks a little bit about his own experiences trying and failing at a business and struggling to lose weight. I'm going to skip over that part and move on a little bit. So, what do we do? What do we do with an injustice? We do not let it overwhelm us. Instead, we redeem it. We use evil intentions to transform us into better versions of ourselves. Again, the temptation to manifest victim energy is what we must avoid when we face hardships. I'm guessing that's what he's saying. You get bitter, a friend once told me, or you get better. What if life is not designed to be a joyride? What if we are not here to be entertained? What if instead life was a noble duty? If we begin our day believing life is supposed to be easy, we will certainly have a terrible day. I'm guilty for waking up lots of times expecting that life be easy, expecting that I I deserve life to be easy, but life is not easy, nor was it ever supposed to be. Life is often fun and entertaining, but the point of life is to live a great story and experience meaning, and that often involves engaging challenges. So, I don't know about you, but I'm thinking about the challenges going on in my life right now, the challenges that I didn't expect to face, and how I feel like I only have two choices, either to become overwhelmed by the challenges and quit, or to engage the challenges. And when push comes to shove, I realize it's my duty to engage the challenge, to face the difficult client in the day, or to face the difficult challenge. I cannot say this guy's name, Rabindranath, probably really messed that up. Tagore, his poem says it best. I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was duty. I worked, and behold, duty was joy. That's a nice poem. I worked, and behold, duty was joy. A hero learns from their mistakes and misfortunes. Failure is an education. Mistakes are an education. Wrong deeds can even be in education. When we see mistakes as a curriculum rather than judgment, the velocity in which we transform increases. Failure, pain, mistakes, and even injustices directed against us offer an advantage if we let them. So, how does a hero transform? They define a specific ambition for their lives. They engage challenges rather than avoid them, and they learn from their mistakes and misfortune. Transformation is natural. None of us look the same as we did when we were babies, and when we are old, we'll look very different than we did when we were middle-aged. Things that are healthy and alive change. Sorry. The converse is also true. Things that are dead do not change. A rock does not change because a rock is not alive. Change is caused by us wanting something and being willing to engage in the challenges of achieving what we want. Before we want something, though, we may have to deal with another problem. There may be some part of us that believes we shouldn't want anything at all. There are people who do not dream of a brighter future for themselves or others. There are people who believe they do not deserve anything in this life. But to not want anything, in my opinion, is to not want to participate in the story of life. And that is akin to not accepting a gift from God. In order to create our life plan and make use of a daily planner that I'll show you later, we're going to have to decide to want something. This is one of my favorite questions to ask a new acquaintance. After a small talk, when the conversation gets more serious, I love to ask, what are you trying to build? What are you trying to bring into the world that wasn't there before? If they have a great answer to that question, and sometimes they do, I know I'm in the presence of a hero on a mission. That's chapter 4. Thank you for allowing me to read excerpts from Hero on a Mission by Donald Miller. And we'll look forward to chapter 5 next time. Alright, that's the end of the story time for today. I hope you feel encouraged. I hope that whatever challenges you face, that you feel encouraged to keep learning and growing from those challenges, and never give up. Well, have a good night, and we'll look forward to the next brainy bedtime reading session. Good night.